So Oliveira is definitely better than both Conor and Gaethje. Can we at least agree?
Conor was at a higher level.
No, he wasn't.
Than Volkanovski was.
No, Conor, when he fought Khabib, was 2 years out of the game.
He was 2 years out of the game.
He hadn't fought in 2 years.
But he was still doing good against someone who was the top champion.
Because Khabib let him. Mm-hmm. He let him.
Habib let him.
Khabib let him.
Had a great takedown defense.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. I'm your host, Justin, and on today's episode, I'm joined by Elijah. How you doing, Elijah?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. This is our 40th episode of the MMA podcast. We took last week off, but we're back now. We're going to be back to filming weekly episodes for you guys. We have a new video coming out soon, so check that out when it's dropped. It'll be Battle for the Bank Part 2. Please watch it. It'll be really fun to watch. Today we are going to be doing predictions for UFC 311, Islam versus Arman. Yeah. What does that say?
UFC 311 predictions.
Yeah, well, what does the top say?
Hardcore.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're going to jump right into it. All we're doing today is predictions. The last week's card was really cool, really fun. Not much to talk about, though. It really didn't have any significance in the rankings or anything. Mackenzie Dern won. There were a lot of cool knockouts and a lot of fun fights. Go back and watch it if you haven't. That was a really cool card for being not the greatest promoted.
Yeah. But
this one is going to be amazing. We have UFC 311, and we are going to start at the bottom, at the early prelims. Tagir Ulanberkov, pretty sure that he trains with Islam and Umar and Habib.
Sounds like it. Versus
Clayton Carpenter. So the first guy is 15-2, and Clayton is 8-0. This is a flyweight bout, by the way. Wow. So either TU or CC.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
CC.
All right, you got CC, I got TU. Yeah, these names are really hard to pronounce sometimes. We're just going to call them by their initials most of the time. Okay, a name that I do know. Ricky Tercios versus Bernardo Sopaj. Sopaj. Ricky Tercios 13-4. Sopaj is 11-3. All right, do we have Ricky? So either RT or BS. 3, 2, 1. We both got Ricky Tercios. Ultimate Fighter winner, has looked pretty promising, has taken some tough losses. I gotta turn the heater off. Why does this happen every time? I always forget to turn that heater off.
Are you keeping this in?
Only if you make some funny noises or something. Okay, now it's gotta stay in. All right. Moving up, we got Rinya Nakamura, who's 9-0, versus Mulin Gafurov, 19-6. So Rinya Nakamura, he's a prospect coming out of Japan. I don't know about Gafurov, but he's 19-6. So either RN or MG. This is bantamweight, by the way.
All right.
3, 2, 1. I got Rinya Nakamura. You got the other guy. Yeah. All right. We're getting there now. I really hope. I've retained this title like 9 times in a row now. He's got no shot. I'm killing it nowadays. All right. Next up, we've got Carol Rosa versus Eileen Perez. Women's bantamweight. The first girl is 18-6, and then Eileen Perez is 11-2. Eileen Perez is the girl that twerks on people. If you've ever seen her before, he says, "Ooh, I'm writing her name." All right, I got my answer. 3, 2, 1. I got Rosa. You got Eileen Perez?
Eileen Perez.
All right. I'm going for the upset. Eileen Perez might be the favorite, but I'm going for the upset. All right. Main event of the early prelims. Zachary Reese versus Azmat Bukov. I feel like it's just funny listening to me try to pronounce these names. This is crazy.
It definitely is.
All right, so Zachary Reese is 8-1, and Azmat is 18-3. So either AB or ZR. All right, 3, 2, 1. I got AB. You got ZR. Okay. All right. Well, that is the early prelims out of the way now. Really hope I'm right on those. Okay, moving up to the prelims. Johnny Walker versus Gustav was canceled. Sadly, I was really looking forward to seeing that. I wanted to see how funny Johnny Walker can get knocked out this time. Not going to happen. So now we're moving up. Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. Grant Dawson, 22-2-1. He had that bad loss to Bobby Green by knockout, but he's come back and he's won a couple since. Diego Ferreira's always in that top 15 picture. He's like right outside of it right now. Grant Dawson, 22-2-1. Diego Ferreira, 19-5. Both men know how to wrestle. Both men know how to scramble. All right, 3, 2, 1. I got Diego Ferreira. You got Grant Dawson. I hope Grant Dawson wins. He's on the up and up, and Diego Ferreira hasn't really done much, but Diego Ferreira is a dog, and he is a veteran, and I think he can nullify the grappling of Grant Dawson. I don't think Grant has that much on the feet for him. Right. So, all right. So Gustav got a new opponent named Billy Alekana. He's 7-1-1, his opponent, and Gustav is 16-3, and he's like 14th ranked at light heavyweight. Versus a guy debuting in the UFC, 7-1-1. All right, so either BG or BE. 3, 2, 1, flip. All right, we both got Gustav. BG. All right. I really wish that we were watching him fight Johnny Walker. That'd be awesome. I want to see Johnny Walker get knocked out in all sorts of fun ways.
Johnny Walker would have won.
No, he wouldn't. All right, next up, we've got Jahilton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak on the prelims. What are they doing to my boy Jahilton Almeida? This dude could be a star. I know his grappling isn't that fun when people can nullify it, but this is two grapplers going up against each other, so this might be fun. Who knows? All right, so Jahilton Almeida, 21-3. Sergey Spivak, 17-4. Spivak coming off of a win over Marcin Tybura. Almeida coming off of a win over, I think, Alexander Romanov, who's not in the company anymore, but he kind of smoked him in like under a minute.
Yeah.
All right, so either JA or SS. 3, 2, 1, flip. I got Jahilton Almeida. You got Jahilton Almeida. Sorry, your marker's kind of going there.
It's all good.
We need new ones. Okay. So, next up, this is going to be a fun fight. Peyton Talbot, 9-0, versus Rioni Barcolos, who's 18-5. The only thing I know from Rioni is that he got knocked out by Umar a couple of years ago. That's all I know of him. He was Umar's first and only knockout in the UFC so far.
First and only?
First and only. And Peyton Talbot has been a mauler. He's been wrecking people. He's been wrecking prospects. He's been wrecking veterans. All right. Who do we have? Peyton Talbot, so PT or RB? I feel like you already... Okay, 3, 2, 1. Peyton Talbot. We both got Peyton Talbot. That kid, I could see a large future for Peyton Talbot. I think he's going to move up the bantamweight rankings pretty quickly, like Sean O'Malley style, like just jump the division straight away.
He has a skill.
I think he... I mean, we haven't really seen his grappling yet, but, I mean, from his striking is elite right now, so we'll see how that plays out. Moving up to the main card now, we've got 5 fights left to talk about, and these are where it becomes bangers. We've got Kevin Holland versus Reiner de Ridder. Reiner de Ridder is a former 2 Division 1 FC champion. Right. Kevin Holland, we know about Kevin Holland. De Ridder, his last fight was against Gerald Meerschaert. He won in that awkward, weird fight that he just ended up winning at like the last minute of the fight. Kevin Holland has had problems with grapplers, though, and Doretta is a grappler, so. All right. So either KH or RDR. This one is the hardest one for me, honestly. Out of all of these to pick on this entire card, this one's the hardest. But 3, 2, 1, RDR. You're going with Kevin Holland. I'm going with RDR. All right. Next up, we have Beneil Dariush coming off of his layoff since losing to Arman versus Regento Moicano, who's coming off of a victory over Benoit Saint Denis. Both of these guys, elite level grapplers. Beneil Dariush is 22-6-1. Moicano is 25-1.
Money Moicano.
Money Moicano. We're talking about Money Moicano here against Beneil Dariush. And I'm pretty sure you know who Beneil Dariush is. All right. So either BD or RM. Three, two, one. Money Moicano. Yeah, we both got Money Moicano. I could see this fight taking place strictly on the feet. If they get into grappling, I think that they're just going to scramble and end up back on their feet anyways. And I think Moicano is just more well-versed in the striking aspect. So I could see Moicano getting like a knockout or something in the second round. Yeah. Now this is going to be a fun fight to talk about. Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Yuri Prochazka coming off of 2 losses to Alex Pereira. Well, 1 loss to Alex Pereira, a win over Alexander Ratchik, another loss to Alex Pereira. Jamal Hill obviously coming off of the loss to Alex Pereira almost a year ago at this point. I wonder who you're going to pick. I feel like we've talked about this, but I don't remember who you ended up picking, so we'll write it down and then we'll talk about it a little bit afterwards. All right. 3, 2, 1. I've got Yuri Prochazka and you've got Jamal Hill.
Yes.
Why do you think Jamal Hill can beat Yuri Prochazka?
I feel like, well, he's not coming off as many losses as Yuri. And I don't know. I think Jamal has from what we've seen against him versus Alex Pereira, I think he has more strategic striking than Yuri. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything good from either of them in the last year. So,
well, that's only because they've only been fighting the best kickboxer in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't see Jamal Hill being able to put Yuri unconscious. That's my problem. And Yuri always finds a way to get it done if you can't put him unconscious. In every one of his fights, even if he's losing, if he's winning, no matter what, Yuri has always found a way to get it done if you don't knock him out. And I don't see a way forward for Jamal Hill to just knock Yuri out.
I think
eventually Yuri's going to get it done in the later rounds.
Yeah. What about the grappling?
I don't think we'll see any grappling.
At all?
If these two grapple each other, I'm going to be so pissed off. I can't explain to you.
Why?
Because they didn't do that against Pereira. Why do it against each other if you didn't do it against Pereira?
I mean, do they have to?
Yes, they had to do it against Pereira. Obviously, they had to. They both got knocked out. Yuri got knocked out twice. So obviously, they should have grappled more. But why would they grapple each other now if they weren't going to grapple Alex?
Strategic winning.
They should have done that in the Alex fight when it actually mattered. These two can actually compete on the ground with each other. I don't think Alex could have competed on the ground with either of them, and he didn't. When Yuri took him down, he basically looked helpless. He eventually made his way back to the feet,
so you're
but
saying Jamal Hill has better grappling than Alex Pereira.
Yes. 100%. I think any MMA fighter in the light heavyweight division have better at grappling than Alex Pereira.
So if Jamal Hill would have took down Alex Pereira, he would have had a better chance at winning.
Yes, 100%. He got knocked out in the first round. Obviously, if he took him down, he'd have a better chance of winning. He would have at least made it into the second round.
True.
So, I mean, just that alone. I'm not saying Jamal has no way to win. I'm saying that Yuri Prochazka has only showed that if you can't put him unconscious, he will finish you eventually.
Right.
The Ratchik fight, the Glover fight, the Dominic Reyes fight.
I mean, oh, brother, both these guys barely put out Glover.
That is true. I mean, that is 100% true. I'll give it to you. Jamal Hill actually beat Glover on the scorecards. Yuri was not going to do that.
Yuri was actually down that whole
Yes,
fight, right?
he got lucky that he won by submission, but that is what I'm trying to say. Win or lose on the scorecards, Yuri will eventually put you unconscious.
I feel like these guys are just too even because it's like both these guys beat up an old man, then have almost career-ending injuries. Both had to drop the belt. I mean, they're pretty
Both
much
are in the
same.
exact same position.
And both got knocked out by Alex Pereira in the same calendar year.
Yeah, within like 3 months of each other, actually.
That's insane.
So, yeah, I don't know. I got Yuri Prochazka. You got Jamal Hill. We could keep it that way. I just don't see a path to victory for Jamal.
I got it like this. Jamal Hill by submission.
Can that be a bet too? No, we're not. We're not doing that.
That would be a crazy bet.
All right. Co-main event. Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Merab is 18-4. Umar is 18-0. So Merab obviously just won his last fight against O'Malley. He's on a 4-fight championship win streak. He beat Henry Cejudo. I know he won his championship in the last one, but he's beaten 4 champions in a row. He beat Triple C. He beat O'Malley. He beat Piotr Jan. And he beat Jose Aldo. So 4 champions in a row he's beaten. Umar has only beaten Corey Sandhagen. Like, he's beaten other guys, but the most notable and only name to really write home about is his win over Corey, which was a hard-fought victory. I don't know how their wrestling is going to go against each other. I don't know how their striking is going to go against each other. This is another very hard one. I don't think it's as difficult to judge as Holland versus De Ridder. I think I know who I'm going with. I'm going to just write them down. We can write it down and then talk about it afterwards. So either MD or UN. 3, 2, 1. UN. We both got Umar Nurmagomedov. I think it's the Nurmagomedov's night. I guess I just gave away who I think is winning in the main event too. Even though he's not a Nurmagomedov. You know what I mean though. But yeah, I can see Merab taking Umar down round after round and winning on the scorecards. I could see it. He could do it to anyone at bantamweight. Anyone to ever live at bantamweight, you probably would have gotten taken down by Merab and grounded out. And I get it. Merab's really good at grappling. We don't know Umar's level right now.
Yeah.
We don't know. Until he's up against Merab, we have no clue what Umar's level is in grappling. Because we know that he's a good offensive grappler. We don't know his level of defensive grappling.
His jiu-jitsu and all that.
Exactly. Could he get a submission? We don't know. We have no clue. Merab could shoot in and he could get subbed. We don't know. I think on the feet, Umar has a slight advantage, but not much. I don't think that his striking is so much better to the point where it negates the takedown attempts. Like, he's going to be thinking about Merab shooting on him, which will make him not strike as effectively.
Can't be more of a better striker than Sean O'Malley.
No, I don't think he is, but I think his level of takedown defense is higher. So he'll put up a better fight.
Right.
It's just, will he be able to actually win, or will he just do better at defending? Because defending doesn't win you fights.
Do you think Umar has a better chance of winning decisively or objectively?
What do you mean?
Like
close fight or like domination?
Like, do you think he'd be like he has a higher chance of coming a win off of submission or KO or through just like?
I don't think he wins a decision. I don't think Umar wins a decision. I think if there's a decision, Merab's getting the decision.
Right.
I think Umar can finish him.
Yeah.
I think he can knock him out. I think he can submit him. That's why I picked him. So,
I have a feeling, something about, when Khabib's in your corner, everyone just magically seems to perform better. And with their camp and the type of trainings that they go through, I already know Khabib's have him on, a schedule. Because I believe what you're saying with Umar, he has the skills to beat him. And I think with Khabib's game planning and his knowledge of certain things, I think he'll be able to put his game plan and the stuff that he has well together to be able to use it against Merab.
Yeah.
I think that his game plan is going to help him more.
See, the thing for me is that I'm thinking that Umar got shot on by Islam and by Khabib over 1 million times in this training camp.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking, like, he's been, like, people have been taking shots on him, like, trying to take him down. Bigger guys like Islam and Khabib have been, like, training with him, shooting takedowns on him, and trying to make sure that he knows how to defend over and over and over again. Yeah. So I think he'll be ready for Merab's takedowns. Yeah. Like, you don't just train with Khabib and not know how to grapple.
Oh, no.
It's not possible.
Anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, do I think that Merab has a chance of winning? Yes, of course.
Of course.
Do I think Umar has a chance of winning? I picked him, so yeah, of course.
I think Merab should be a favorite, if anything.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think he will be the favorite.
Yeah.
But that's betting lines. I think I don't know if I'd put my money on Umar, but I'll pick him.
I mean, look at it like this. Merab is the champion. Merab has proved why he's a champion, that he has a championship skill set.
Beat 4 champions.
Exactly. He beat 4 champions, good champions, notable champions among the division. I'm not saying that Umar can't do it, but he's going to need a game plan.
Yeah.
One game plan.
All right, now for Khabib's other protege, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Sharukian. So if Islam wins this fight, that brings him to 15 consecutive victories in the UFC. Second most of all time, tied with Usman, 1 win beneath Anderson Silva. So if Islam wins, he ties the second place record for 15-fight win streak. He will also tie the record for the most lightweight title defenses at 3.
Who has the most wins?
What do you mean?
Like, who has the highest win streak?
Oh, Anderson Silva at 16.
In the UFC?
Yeah.
Wow.
Anderson Silva has 16, Usman has 15, Islam has 14. Wow. So if Islam wins on Saturday, he will move up to tie with Usman for second place, 15 and 15. And then he will also get 3 title defenses, which is the same as Khabib. So Islam puts himself in a really good position to be called the GOAT of lightweight if he wins on Saturday. He's already beaten this guy. I got to say, Arman's grown a lot, but I think we can write our answers down and then talk a little bit more about it. I've got my answer already. Islam or Arman? We got the Muslim mountain men versus the or the Christian mountain men. That's literally what's going on here. Merab and Arman are Christians, and Islam and Umar are Muslim. And they're all from the mountains of, like, the Dagestan, Armenia, Georgia area.
And they're all in, like, the same little...
All in the same little area.
All right.
Or 3, 2, 1. Islam Makhachev. I love Islam Makhachev. I love Umar Nurmagomedov. I love Khabib's whole team. I don't think they're crotch sniffers, as a lot of people say they are. I think they're actually, especially Islam, very talented strikers. And Umar is a very talented striker, too. I mean, he started with striking. So I see the hype. I don't think I see the hype in Arman. He barely beat Oliveira. He beat Beneil Dariush, but then what other accomplishments does he really have to his name? I mean, he took Islam to a hard fight in his debut. That was impressive. He took Islam to a hard fight in his debut. That's impressive.
That's wild.
Since then, he's won a couple against some okay guys. He lost a split decision to Gamrot. He won a split decision against the debuting guy. Like, he won a split decision against the debuting fighter. Did he finish him in the third round? He was getting his ass whooped and knocked down, and then I think he might have actually finished him in the third. But I know that he was getting his ass whooped for a little bit. That shows that he could get it done. that shows that he could come back from adversity. Islam's way too much adversity for him. I feel like I don't see a way to victory for Arman. Grappling, striking, I don't see it. I think Islam is more well-rounded. He's got the better grappling and the better striking. So what path to victory does Arman have other than a puncher's chance?
Other than a puncher's chance, I think he has a higher chance of actually getting that. Because honestly, if it's your debut and you're going up against this guy, right? I mean, I heard it was like 2 weeks notice too, right?
Yep.
No, barely any game plan, barely any training, barely any workout. You fought this guy, you've seen this guy before, and you were almost able to beat him. So I think his best game plan is to not game plan. Because
just show up and try to fight him.
Because it's like, it's like you can, train and then put out this sort of game plan, to try to beat Islam. But Islam's very well rounded. He has some of the best coaches around. He has some of the best training of all time. The only way to beat Islam, from what I see, is to be unorthodox. And I think that's what gave kind of a Volkanovski a chance in their one fight, because it's like, this is something he's not used to seeing, someone he's not used to being in his division. And I think Arman poses an even bigger threat, and he's younger.
He is. I think he's 28. Pretty sure he's 20. He's the youngest guy in the top. I think the top 10 of lightweight. He's the youngest guy. I don't really see that as anything special, though. I think that, we already know that most MMA fighters hit their prime at the age Islam is, which is around 32, 33. That's usually the prime age for MMA fighters. Islam's right there, still kicking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to convince me that Arman's going to win until we watch it happen. So, but I do want to ask, if Islam does win, and he gets that third title defense, and he gets that 15-fight win streak, is he the GOAT of lightweight over Khabib?
No. I only think that because I feel like Khabib beat harder competition.
Okay, name who?
Justin Gaethje.
Okay.
Conor McGregor.
Okay.
And then those are the two, other than he.
They both beat Dustin.
Okay,
so who's a harder fight, Gaethje and Conor, or Charles Oliveira and Alexander Volkanovski?
Gaethje and Conor.
No.
Gaethje and Conor.
No. Oliveira beat Gaethje. We're aware of that, right? And Volkanovski was the number 2 pound for pound at the time. And I think Volkanovski is far and away better than Conor McGregor. So Oliveira is definitely better than both Conor and Gaethje. Can we at least agree?
Conor was at a higher level.
No, he wasn't.
Than Volkanovski was.
No, Conor, when he fought Khabib, was 2 years out of the game.
He was 2 years out of the game.
He hadn't fought in 2 years.
But he was still doing good against someone who was the top champion.
Because Khabib let him. Mm-hmm. He let him.
Habib let him.
Habib let him.
Had a great takedown defense.
In the first round. In the third round, Habib didn't even try to take him down because he wanted to play with his food. He didn't want to just beat him. He was playing with his food.
2 years out, though?
Yes, 2 years out. 2 years out of action. Conor McGregor is not as good as Volkanovski.
So if he was 2 years continuated into action, do you think he would have put up a better fight against Khabib?
It doesn't matter. We're talking about the wins that they actually got.
Well,
Khabib beat a Conor 2 years out of action. Islam beat a Charles Oliveira who was on like an 11-fight win streak. He beat a Volkanovski on a 12-fight win streak.
He beat someone who was in a lower weight class than him. And then he beat Charles Oliveira.
Okay.
That's it.
Which are better wins than Justin Gaethje and Conor McGregor. And then add Arman to that list. So now you've got Islam has beaten Oliveira, he's beaten Alexander Volkanovski, he's beaten Dustin Poirier, and he's beaten Arman.
Depends
Those 4 wins,
and Dustin's a little
still,
older.
those 4 wins are better than Khabib's 3 wins.
Nah, because Khabib fought Dustin when he was younger.
Yeah, but Dustin was clearly not as skilled back then as he is now. He might be older, but it's obvious and evident in those 2 fights how much better Dustin has gotten since fighting Khabib.
I don't think he's gotten better.
He
He's
has.
had the skill. I think that he's fighting it in a different way. I think that because he's already seen what could be put out there against him, I think that his game planning was a lot better because it's like, okay, I fought this guy's coach. I know what he's gonna be able to put up against me, and I kind of know what not to do. I think Dustin did his best, also because that was also maybe one of his last chances also at the belt. I think those kind of things kind of boosted him up a little bit, you know?
I completely disagree. I think that Dustin has gotten better since 2018. I think the Dustin that fought Islam last year was a better version of Dustin than who fought Khabib in 2018. I think that Oliveira and Volkanovski are better wins than Conor and Justin Gaethje. And I think that the people at home will agree with me. I mean, put it in the comments section who you agree with. Would Islam be the new GOAT if he beats Arman at lightweight? GOAT of lightweight, not the GOAT all time. We've had that discussion a million times. It's obviously John Jones. You know, I'll admit it. I'll admit John Jones is the greatest of all time. Not the greatest right now, but he's the greatest of all time. Islam is the greatest right now. The greatest right now.
The greatest fighter?
The greatest fighter in the world is Islam Makhachev.
Nah. Alex Pereira.
No, he's not.
Pereira.
Name me a top 15 pound for pound fighter that Alex Pereira has beaten. Go.
A top 15?
Yes, top 15 pound for pound fighter that Alex Pereira has beaten. Go.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
He beat Sean Strickland and Izzy.
Oh, well, Izzy's not on the top 15 anymore, and Sean Strickland's like number 14.
He's beat him.
Okay.
Name someone on the top 15. Beat him.
Okay, well, Islam has beaten multiple people that are on the top 15. So what's your point?
No, what's your point? Because you told me name someone Alex Pereira has beaten in the top 15. I named you one person.
Okay, who's higher ranked in the top 15, Volkanovski or Sean Strickland? Aha, gotcha. Volkanovski is higher ranked than Sean Strickland. So Islam beat a higher ranked pound for pound fighter.
I don't know. Alex Pereira is more dominant than Islam.
No, he isn't. No,
Yes,
he isn't.
he
No,
is.
he isn't. No, he
He's
isn't.
dominated
No, he isn't.
3 opponents in the last
He's
year.
dominated kickboxers that are worse at kickboxing than him. That does not count.
Like Khabib fighting tomato cans all the way up to his
That's fine. I'm not a Khabib sympathizer before the UFC. When Khabib got to the UFC and started fighting high level competition, he never lost a single fucking round.
He lost 1 round.
He lost 1 round one round out of the 72 rounds that he fought in the UFC.
Round to?
Justin Gaethje. He did not lose that round to Conor McGregor. I rewatched that fight.
He lost
nope,
that round.
nope. I rewatched that fight. I don't care. Habib actually won the 3rd round.
That's not what the scorecard said.
Well, Justin Gaethje beat him in the 1st round.
Is that on scorecard?
Yeah.
Oh. 2 rounds.
No.
Two
I don't care. Islam is number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world. He's the best fighter in the world, and he will be number 1 pound for pound lightweight champ of all time. But we've given out all our predictions. Please come back for our live reaction this Saturday. It'll probably be me, Matt, Jake. You're invited, but you probably got work. But yeah, come back. That'll be posted on the channel probably on Sunday or so, maybe early Monday morning. Stay tuned to that. Check out any of our other live reactions that are out on the channel right now. We've got 310, 309, 308, 307, 305. We did all of those live reactions, so please go check those out. You got anything else you want to say leading up to 311 before we sign out?
Tyson Fury, newly retired.
Yeah, he's retired. Oh, well. It's okay. He's washed anyways.
Now, and we're looking at Canelo versus Crawford finally.
Yeah, finally.
These are big.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Boxing, Boxing doesn't
Haney,
work like that. I'll believe it
now
when I
to
see it.
rematch Ryan Garcia.
I'll believe it when I see it.
These are big.
I thought Ryan Garcia retired last year, didn't he?
No, Ryan Garcia didn't retire. He had stepped away. He had primarily stepped away to do an exhibition because he was banned from fighting in the United States because Devin Haney had a lawsuit on him saying that the billionth of a gram of Ostrin in his system was the main reason of why he got knocked down 5 or 6 times in that entire fight. But now he's dropping the lawsuit so that he can fight Ryan again because he feels like he can now beat Ryan, even though Ryan dropped him 5 or 6 times in that fight. I think it had nothing to do with the Ostrin. I think it had primarily everything to do with game planning.
That's great. Thank you guys for watching the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. I'm not a big boxing guy. I'll believe this shit when I see it. Boxing sucks, dude. I mean, they all are scared to fight each other. That's all I have to say about that right now. They're all scared of each other.
I don't think they're scared. I think
they're all scared.
Because you have more leniency with how much you get paid and who you get to fight, it's a lot.
Which makes it worse. That's why the UFC has the best business model out of any combat sport.
And that's why the UFC fighters make less than boxers.
Yeah, that's fine. They have a better business model.
Say if the UFC had, 4 belts for each division, and then each guy was able to negotiate, we would never know who's the GOAT.
Exactly.
We would never know who's
Which is why the UFC has the best business model out of any promotion in the world when it comes to combat fighting.
It's a 50-50 stick.
No.
There's certain ways you could break it down.
Nope. There's no way you could break it down. They have the best business model. It has worked for almost 30 years now, and it will continue to work. They're the biggest combat sports company in the entire world. And no matter how much money they want to throw at these boxers, at the end of the day, boxing is going to die out and fail one day because they throw too much money at their top stars and they leave all of their undercard fighters poor because no one cares about boxing. They only care about the main events. Every boxing fan is actually a casual boxing fan, and all they care about is the main event. No. Boxing fans can't tell me who was on the early prelims of the last boxing card for Fury versus Usyk. You couldn't tell me. Name one other fight on the entire card.
For Fury versus Usyk?
Yes, 2.
I wasn't able to watch that card, but what was... It wasn't Carmel Moten. Who was that dude's name? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I knew a couple.
So you're forgetting, was that the co-main event that you're trying to think of?
Was it Danny Dubois?
Are you trying? Yeah, but just answer. Are you trying to think of the co-main event of that?
No, this was a couple fights lower than that.
Do you remember the co-main event?
I think it was Daniel Dubois versus It wasn't Andy Ruiz.
Well, the fact that you can't remember it means that boxing is going to die off one day. UFC is the greatest company in the world, and they got the best business strategy. It's my opinion. I think it's right. It's worked. That's all it's worked. But, all right, thank you guys for watching our 311 predictions. Come back for our live reactions this Saturday. It'll be posted on the channel Sunday or Monday morning. Thank you, Elijah, for coming and predicting with me. Hopefully you'll get a win one of these days. Because, 9 weeks with this belt, it's kind of crazy.
That was last year.
Yeah, and I still have it to this year, which means I've held it for an entire year.
This year restarts.
Nope. Thank you guys for watching the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. I've been your host, Justin. That has been Elijah. And peace out.